We will be starting with the event in the next few minutes. A very good evening to each and everyone present in this meet today. Welcome to episode 1 of GDSE Elevate Resume 101. I am Darsha Surkhaidu, the host for the event today, and our speaker is Pranav Betri. Pranav has been a part of GDSE for the past 4 years and is also an upcoming intern for Cisco. He has actively been a part for the core recruitment of GDSE and has therefore an ample amount of experience in the recruitment field. The question arises, why are soft skill sets such an important asset? They help further define your career path and also helps you travel the extra mile for recognition. Before this event commences, I would like to request each and everyone to not hesitate from diligently taking part in the event. You are encouraged to turn your mics on or put your responses in the chat box. Thank you. Over to Pranav.
Thank you, Dasha. Is my voice audible?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Good evening, folks. Welcome to Resume 101. We'll be starting the session now. Feel free to interrupt me at any point of time. Let's keep this session as interactive as possible. So before we start with the actual session, let me ask you a quick question. How much time on average do you think an employer spends looking at an resume? Feel free to unmute and answer, or you can even type in the chat. A minute, okay? There's no right answer or there's no wrong answer. Feel free to type in whatever you people think is the right answer. But when I says 10 seconds, interesting, okay? Any more answers? Feel free to unmute and answer as well. Not more than a minute or two. Dhanik is very specific, 7 seconds. Nice. Mehak says 1 minute. Uh-huh. 5 seconds. Wow, okay. All right. So let's reveal the answer. On an average, according to a study, an experienced recruiter spends only around 6 to 10 seconds. I think Bhattinayak was really close to the actual answer. That is 6 to 10 seconds. That's it. An experienced recruiter spends on a resume only 6 to 10 seconds. So whatever you are trying to convey about you to a recruiter, you should make sure that it catches their eye within the first 10 seconds. So before we actually go into the actual topics, let me ask a quick question again. How many of you have never created a resume? Or if you have created, tell me what are the challenges that you faced? Okay, there are quite a lot of hands up. Okay. And for those of you who have actually prepared your resume, maybe through a template or maybe on your own, what were the challenges that you faced? You can unmute and answer as well. Formatting. Okay. A lot of people have problem with formatting the resume. Okay. Not being sure of what to include. That's very valid. Any more answers? So there was no challenges at all, I assume.
Hey Pranav.
Hi.
Yeah, one of the challenges which I faced is like how long a resume should be, whether it should be restricted to
Mm-hmm.
1 page or 2 page, and how to convey our achievements or any, achievements which you have done in college or school level, how to convey it to the recruiter. This is one of the challenges which I had faced.
Got it. So Vijay says what to include and also how to include and how much to include were a few of the challenges which he faced during resume building. So these and all of these points we'll be covering one by one throughout this session. And at the end of the session, if you have never prepared a resume before, I'm sure you would be knowing much more of what to include in your resume. And if you have ever prepared a resume before, then I'm pretty sure you would be confident enough to make the necessary edits and take it forward to the recruiter. Hemant specifies lack of specifics. That is also a very valid point, Hemant. We'll be covering all these points throughout this session. And as we were mentioning, like should it be 1 page or 2 page? Let me just give you a quick fact. Google receives almost around 12 to 15 million resumes every year. And most of you might think, Google might use an ATS software, an automated machine to go through these resumes and reject the candidates straight up. But that's not the case with Google, at least. What Google does is there's a person, like there's an entire team which is set to just go through your resumes. Every single resume will be went through and they will be reviewed by eye. So that's why we have this 6 to 10 second rule. On an average, they'll just spend around 6 to 10 seconds per resume. And if they think your resume fits their requirement, then they will give it another look later on. So what are the general tips that we should keep in mind? The basic, we'll start with the bare basics that we should keep in mind for making this resume. First and the foremost, the preferred format should be in PDF or doc. In fact, to be more precise, I would suggest you to go with PDF itself. If at all, if you're going with a Word doc or a Google doc, then make sure to use something called as page setup and set the page dimensions to an A4 size, A4 paper size page setup, because otherwise, like whatever formatting which you might have done on your screen will not reflect the same when a recruiter takes a PDF conversion of that doc, or if at all if they take a printout. This would be a common mistake which I've seen like many people do. Like they would format their entire assignment, but they will forget to change the page setup to A4 size, and when they get a printout, the entire formatting is gone, right? I'm sure most of you would have faced this. That is because you forget. That is because we tend to forget to change the page setup. So if you don't want all that, confusion, then stick to PDF. And in fact, even the file name matters. Most of us ignore the file name. It's just a name which we give. But for a recruiter, there will be hundreds of resumes. And if they want to come back to my resume after they've reviewed my profile, after they have taken my interview, they'll only remember my name. So it's better to keep the file name something similar to my full name underscore resume, or any of this preferred format, Pranav Bedre resume.pdf, something like that, and reflect your achievements and accomplishments. Never hesitate, to put all your achievements on your resume. Don't compare your resume with your friends. Don't try to think, okay, I worked for this project along with my friend, but he has not put it on his resume. Should I put it on my resume or not? That's not required. In fact, don't like hesitate to completely to completely hype yourself up. But I'm sorry, they never try to bluff you though. All the achievements, accomplishments, whatever you've done, make sure to put it on your resume. And most importantly, it's all about a structure and flow. At times, like whenever you're applying for a professional job, I've seen many people show their creativity in their resume, try to make it funky with many colors, with crazy fonts. But if at all, if you're applying for a professional job, I would highly suggest you to stick to a professional, clean, simple format. Don't go with these funky colors. Try to keep it plain and simple. At max, I would suggest you to go with 2 or 3 colors in the entire resume, and that too with the basic colors like black, white background, or maximum blue or purple. And then the bare minimum should include your education, your experience, and other accomplishments. And whenever you're trying to explain something, make sure you use bulleting points. Don't write an entire para of an experience, because again, the golden rule, 6 to 10 seconds, the recruiter will not be able to go through the entire para. They will lose the interest and they'll move on to the next resume. So if you want to catch their eye, make sure you use bullet points. It should be very crisp. It should be very concise. And at max, I would suggest 2 to 3 points per project or per work experience. And never ever forget your contact info. At times I've seen recruiters, they like a resume, but they're trying to reach out to the candidate, but they cannot find the candidate information, their updated mobile number or their email ID, it will be missing. So never forget to include your contact info. That is the first most point whenever it comes to your resume. And as I was saying, try to keep your project and experience concise. So how do you do it? How do you make sure that catches the recruiter's eye? That is when you use action words. Action words are something like developed, managed, worked with. I'll come back to this point later on in this presentation, but keep this in mind whenever you're preparing and whenever you're when you're going through this event, because these action words make a difference. Make sure to use as many action words as possible whenever you're preparing your resume. And finally, be authentic. As I was saying, never try to bluff. Be authentic. Every resume is different. Don't try to compare as well. Be yourself. Like as Andy says in the famous Parks and Recreation, is nice guy. So if you're a nice guy, show it on your resume. Now coming to the bare minimum, the good to have things. So what all to include? These are the 6 headings which I would suggest you to must and should include on your resume, and preferably in this order. Again, the order is subjective to your personal choice, but this is what I would suggest for most of you. First and the foremost thing, your personal information. This could be this is your name, email ID, LinkedIn, GitHub, phone number. I'm assuming most of you are from the circuital background. So GitHub profile will be relevant, and Don't put your GitHub again link again if it's empty, because that will waste recruiters' time. If you have an active GitHub account, if you have an active LinkedIn account, then make sure to put that on your resume. If in case you are a fresher who's just exploring the things on the domains of CS, then make sure to quickly create a LinkedIn account. Try to connect with as many people as possible, because LinkedIn is a professional social media network wherein you can reach out to many people for your professional experience. In case if you don't have a LinkedIn and GitHub account, it's all right. It's completely okay to skip it. And finally, your phone number. That's also really important. But apart from this, including your personal address or your parents' name, date of birth, all that is completely optional, is something which better if it's ignored. Then the second thing is education. Whatever you're currently studying, that will have the most importance in your resume. So make sure to include your university, that's the college which you are studying in. For example, HDC. Then the degree which you're pursuing might be MCA, BCA, BE, BTech. Make sure to include that. Expected graduation year. That is, when are you expected to graduate? 2022, 2023. Make sure to include that on your resume as well. And then coming to professional experience. This is the place wherein you include all the experience which you have already achieved, maybe through your internship or maybe a part-time work, could be a project, can be anything. You might have worked in a small startup for an internship, or you might have created your own entrepreneur, job for yourself. Any kind of experience is okay to be put, because every experience matters. And one thing to keep in mind while you're putting these experience is list them in chronological order. That is, the most recent one should be in the top, and then the next one, and then so on. And whenever you are mentioning the professional experience, make sure to include the employer name, that is the company in which you worked at. Then the job title, what position or designation you held at that company. And finally, the duration for which you were employed. Let's say you worked in an internship for 2 months, so make sure to mention which months you worked at, like June to July I was here as this position at XYZ company. Make sure to include all of this on your resume. And as I was as I'm keep mentioning again and again, keep the description concise. Don't write an entire paragraph of what you worked in that particular duration. In fact, it's okay to call out the all the confidential parts as well. Like when you're in interview, whenever you're sharing your experience, there are times at which there will be some confidential matters on the company in which you worked at. So it's okay to tell the recruiter that this is a confidential matter which I'm not allowed to discuss further. It's okay to tell that, because that shows your honesty as well. That's a bonus point. Moreover, like try to keep the description concise. Use action words at max 2 or 3 points per experience. Then extracurricular activities. This might be the student clubs, communities, sports, as most of you are also part of NGOs. Any of these, or any conference presentations, or if you have attended these conferences, make sure to include them as well. And finally, your honors or achievements, any kind of scholarships which you got, any academic awards, competitions, sports, everything, all the awards. It might be starting right back from your school days. Maybe you got Best Student of the Year award. Note down everything that you already achieved, and then start building your resume. And the sixth heading, that is skills. This is the place where you mention everything which you know, or the coding languages which you have learned, or the frameworks, and even the soft skills. Let's say if you are good at leadership. So if you're mentioning leadership, one thing which I said is just all the soft skills which you mentioned here, make sure it also has a supporting point backed in your resume. That is, let's say I've mentioned leadership as one of the soft skill. Then at the same time, I will mention I was the GDSE lead for the term 2020 to 2021 in my extracurricular activity. So when a recruiter looks at my resume, they'll see that soft skill I have mentioned leadership, and for supporting point, I've also mentioned the leadership qualities which I perform the duties which I perform in my extracurricular activities. So never ever bluff your resume. It's okay even if you have not worked on any project. Maybe you are someone who likes competitive coding. It's okay to mention that instead of your projects. Some few people might have worked on open source contribution, and trust me, open source contribution has a lot of priority when it comes to recruitment as well. So if you are someone who has done that, then make sure to mention that as well. Whatever that you have worked on, could be even your academic projects, make sure to mention that as well. There is nothing like, I should mention only non-academic projects, something which I didn't do it for the college. There is no such rule. All the academic projects as well, they have equal importance as long as you were someone who worked on it. Don't mention the projects which you were, worked with your friends, but you barely played any part in. Maybe you are just in charge of the presentations or the documentation, but you don't really know how the technical stuff is working behind the scenes. So if you don't know something, then don't mention it. But if you are completely sure of what is happening, then please go ahead and mention that project. It can be a DBMS project which you did for the academics. It can be a CN project, could be anything. Make sure to mention that. So let's take a small break here. I'll be open to questions. If you have any questions or if you have any doubts so far, feel free to ask me. You can unmute and ask, or you can even put it on the text. With me so far? Any doubts or any confusions? If no doubts, then please say yes. We can go ahead. Abhilash is asking, can we add open source contribution with no prior work experience? Yes, Abhilash, even that is completely fine because most of us are freshers. We are just graduating out of college or we are still in the college. So companies know what to expect from freshers and they won't be expecting a lot, like, they won't be expecting you to have a lot of work experience. So the way they judge you is based on the extracurricular activities or the fundamentals which you have. And if you have any open source contribution, that's really great because that is something which will make your resume stand out of the crowd, which that is something which most of the people wouldn't have on their resume. Any more doubts, any more doubts or questions? Okay, I'll assume there are no more doubts at this moment. So you might ask me like how to, like decide what to include on the resume and what not to include. You can say I have like 6, 7 projects now, including all the academic projects. So which one to include? So if this is on your mind right now, then what you can do is like there's a simple activity which you can follow. That is, before you start working on your resume, list down these 6 headings and start filling them one by one on a piece of paper. Okay. Write down everything that you have done. No need to be judgy. Just mention everything on that piece of paper. Start with personal information. These are the most obvious things. There's your name, phone number, everything. There's no confusions over there. Then go to your education. Here mention your university, degree, all those details. And then you might ask me, should we include CGPA or not? That is completely optional until and unless company is very specific on asking like what is your CGPA. If they've mentioned it somewhere in the job description, then please mention your CGPA on the resume. Otherwise, if you're comfortable with sharing your CGPA, then go ahead and mention it. For a fresher, it's mandatory to have at least your degree, that is your bachelor degree, mentioned on your resume. And it's completely optional. If you want, you can mention your 12th and 10th standard as well for the education. Then on this same piece of paper, write on all the professional experience, all the projects, all the achievements you've done, everything. Note down, list out everything on this piece of paper. Once you have noted down, then start, giving priority to these tasks, to these achievements, or to these points. That is, let's say give them, differentiate them into three priorities. That is P0, P1, and P2. P0 means the highest priority. P1 means that is something which is good to have but can be skipped on your resume. And finally, P2. That is, those are the things which can be completely skipped if necessary. They don't need to be on your resume. So these are the things which might be included if there's nothing else to mention on your resume. So the first thing to do is list on everything on a piece of paper, then give them a priority, P0, P1, or P2. So P0s are the ones which are must and should for your resume. Put them on your resume first. Note down everything and put it on your resume. Then comes the P1s. These are the things which you can decide based on the job description or based on the available space on your resume. Then you can go ahead and decide if you want to include them or not. And finally comes the P2s, which are completely optional. If you want to skip them totally, you can skip them. Or if you don't want to, and if the job description matches with these, then please go ahead and include the P2s as well. And before you stick to these P0, P1, and P2 prioritization, make sure to share it with your friends or your seniors or someone whom you feel comfortable with. Tell them these are the priorities which I've given to these points. Please verify if you also feel the same. Do you think this is a P0 priority? This is a P1 priority? And then you can go ahead building your resume. I think this should clear your doubt as to what should I include and what I should tend to skip on the resume. Okay. Any doubts so far? If the Bridget is asking if the candidate photograph should be included on the resume. Again, the candidate photograph is completely optional. If at all, if you are including, make sure you put a professional photo, that is a clean and straight looking photo with no funky backgrounds. Don't put your Instagram DP for your resume. If you're not putting it also, it's completely fine. Unless the company is specifically asking you to put your profile, put your picture on your resume. Few of the companies are tending to ask this in the recent times because of the virtual interviews. Otherwise, it's something which you can totally skip. So moving on, what are the things to remember? Okay, sorry, Prashit has a question. How do you decide priorities? The priorities should be completely based on the job description and the role for which you are applying to, and obviously your intuition. There are some certain projects which are must and should for your resume, for which you worked heart and soul. So those are the projects which you want to shout out to the world. Give them the highest priority because the recruiter should know those projects that you've worked on. But then there are a few projects which were not that big of a deal for you. So you can give them a lower priority. And again, depending on the job description, keep it dynamic, keep it changing, don't keep it static. And that is also the reason why I asked you to, share this prioritization with your seniors or your friends so that you will get to know what to do. Like if they also feel the same about the priority. I hope that clears the doubt. Manoj is here with a question. How to add open source contributions if I have? Should I put the GitHub link for that? Yes, Manoj, definitely. If you have an open source contribution to display or showcase on your resume, one of the best advantages of having a PDF for your resume is that you can actually include hyperlinks to those contributions. Something which I would recommend for open source contribution is you would have created a pull request, right? Going a bit technical, you would have created a pull request to a particular organization for that open source contribution. If possible, include a link to that pull request. Or if you have created multiple pull requests, what you can do is go to that organization, search for your contribution, for your authorship, your commit name, and then include the link for that particular search query. I hope that answers. All right. So we saw what are the things, the general tips to keep in mind. So what are the other things to remember, like while preparing your resume? First thing is one size doesn't fit all. There's no one perfect formula. Like there's no one secret formula which I can share with you, which makes your resume stand out from the crowd. It's your own resume. So make sure to show that it's your own. You should be authentic with your resume. And one more thing to keep in mind is the same resume might not be fit for all the jobs which you might be applying. Let's say you're applying for a web dev role. So if you've worked on something like machine learning at the same time, including your machine learning projects for a web dev role related job might not be that helpful. Instead, you can actually could have included more related to your web experience because it is a job which is asking for web experience, right? So keep your resume dynamic, keep changing it according to the job description. Don't keep just one single resume for all the companies which you're applying to. Read the job description, go through your seniors who are already placed in that company, see what are the work they are working on in that company, and then formulate your resume. Second thing to keep in mind is anything, anything and everything that you put on your resume, it's a fair game. It's a fair game for the interviewer. Whenever you put something on your resume, it's saying that, you're confident that I've worked on this. So you are telling the interviewer, in fact, you're challenging the interviewer to ask questions on those topics. So if you're trying to bluff your resume, let's say you've just started with a programming language and you've mentioned it on the resume, then definitely if the interviewer gets to know that you have bluffed, then they'll go ahead and straight up reject you. So never try to bluff it. Put only the things which you're confident about. Even if it's just a half page resume, as long as you're confident of every single thing that you put on your resume, that's a really good resume. Third thing is always double check, triple check, like in fact, check as many times as possible before submitting your resume. Make sure like, someone else goes through your resume as well. Check for all the formatting errors, all the indentation errors, typos especially, and always keep your resume updated. I've seen few people, they would have mentioned their mobile number and they would have forgotten to update it like from time to time. After a year, they will update, they will upload the same resume while applying for the job and they might have changed their mobile number. So when a recruiter tries to reach out to this candidate through the resume, they would not be able to reach out to the candidate. So always keep your resume up to date. All the recent projects which you worked on, all the recent experience which you have, make sure to include it on your resume. Again, always remember the typos. In fact, a quick story here, an actual fact. Once a Google rejected a candidate who was in his final stage of interview just because there was a spelling mistake on his resume. The recruiters, they were going through his profile. He was almost in the final round of the interview. So when they were making the decision if they should hire him or not, they noticed there was a small typo on his resume and they straight up rejected him because if he was careless enough to not check for typos on his resume, then they were sure he would be careless enough during the job as well because resume is your first impression to the recruiters. So always make sure you give the best impression. So now that we know all the things to remember, let's circle back to the action words which we were talking about. Feel free to take a screenshot of this if you want. In fact, we'll be sharing this PPT back in our event platform website as well on our DSE website. So these are the words which you can use to describe the experience or the projects which you have worked on. For example, let's say you achieved 10% reduction by implementing XYZ while working on a project. That's how you should formulate the sentence while you're explaining something. You should try to keep it as concise, as small as possible. There should be little area for the interviewers to ask questions on. They should be, when they read your resume, they should come back to you and they should ask you, what exactly did you do? How did you achieve that? Right? Just keep some suspense at the same time, keep it concise and to the point. Don't beat around the bush. Try to use as many action words as possible. For example, you can say researched, promoted, prioritized, delivered, operated. In fact, it's even okay to say whenever you worked in a team, say that worked with a team of 5 on this project, and make sure to mention what was your contribution in the team of 5. It's okay to mention your team projects as well as your individual projects. Okay. And one more thing which I commonly get asked is why should we include all these extracurricular activities? Because straight up they don't give you much information for the technical jobs which you might be applying. But they'll show that you are a team player. If you're part of any club, if you're part of any societies or NGOs, that shows that you're someone who has already worked in a team and can take decisions and can manage with the higher ups as well. If you've played any sports and if you've won any awards, then that shows your sportsmanship and your teamship again, that you're a team player, that you can communicate well with the team. These are the points which promote, which boost your profile indirectly. On the surface level, it looks as if you're just telling that you're a sports player, but indirectly you're telling them that you're also a team player, right? So now that we even saw the action words, let's go to the next section of the event. That is, let's look at few sample resumes, right? Time to put on your judging caps. I'll be showing few sample resumes. Tell me everything that you think is incorrect or inconsistent, or what you think, these people got it right and what they got it wrong. Feel free to unmute and answer. Again, bonus points for whoever finds the most errors in these resumes. Are you all ready? Shall we start? Yes. Okay, let's look at the very first resume then. So here's a resume. Can someone tell me what do you feel? Remember the golden rule, 6 to 10 seconds. A recruiter will only spend 6 to 10 seconds. So at the first glance, what do you think about this resume? Feel free to diss it. Feel free to bring out all the negative points which you have about this resume. There are more than 75 people in this call. I'm sure few of you might have used this template as well. Rashid says there is a lot of white space. Yes, color combination is not good. Right, Avilash? People, please feel free to unmute and answer. Landscape format. Okay. Alignment issues. You look great is not appropriate in resume. Totally, it's not professional. It looks clumsy, definitely. Yes. DP and paragraph in the starting. True. Avila says different fonts for description. That's a nice catch. But Vinayak says no contact details. Sorry, I've actually censored the contact details because I don't want you to people reverse engineer and find out this person, because this is an actual resume. College name is not there. Again, sorry, I've censored that. Those gray blocks are the areas which I have censored. Apart from that, any more points? Feel free to unmute and tell me. That's it. Okay, so let's actually look at what are the major issues in this resume. Limited use of colors, yes. So the first and the foremost thing, lot of white space. Like literally top 30% of the resume is completely wasted. If you can see here, all this space is completely wasted and it's not being utilized for anything in this resume. And that's a big, red flag. And then is the best content on the left, everything, all the personal project, education, professional experience, everything is stuffed into the left part of the column. And then the color combination, as few of you mentioned, the first glance when you look at this resume, it tries to capture your eyes only towards these skills and this profile picture, right? And definitely this is not a good profile picture for a professional job if you're applying to. So having these cloud boxes for your technical skills will bring all the attention towards that, and your recruiter will not have enough time to go through your entire resume in those 6 to 10 seconds. So make sure to avoid these cloud boxes, which makes your eye look at them the first itself. And then consistency of formatting. If you can see here, the font used here for description is completely different for the from the font used for this description here. And then if you can see in the achievements, for the achievements description, he has used gray color and italics, wherein for projects description, he has used bulleting points without any italics. So it's not consistent. It's really important to keep it as consistent as possible. And one more thing is, one thing to remember while choosing these colors is that, few of the recruiters, they will try to take a printout of your PDF, whichever resume you give to them, because you would have given them a soft copy. And when they are taking a printout, they might take a black and white printout. Keep this point in mind whenever you're choosing the colors. If you use something like this, when you take a black and white printout of the resume, this will look really odd, right? So try to, personal suggestion is try to stick with basic colors like plain green or blue or purple, and don't go with overly saturated colors. Okay, let's look at the next resume then. Keep up the spirit, people. Yes. So what do you think? Take a look at this resume. Again, this is the PPT part. It's not empty space. The resume is just this much. And these are the censored blocks. What do you think about this resume? Pale colors. Okay. They've used a lot of gray instead of black. And then those are pale colors. Projects not mentioned. Yes, low contrast. Font size is not appropriate for few sections. Totally agree. If you can see, the education is used really like very low fonts. One suggestion again, which I would give you is try to use at least font size of 12 points. That is the bare minimum for any of the sentences which you put on your resume, so that when a recruiter looks at your resume, it should be readable, easily readable, right? Any more points? Role name is there after the employer name. Yes, okay. Skills versus experience. That's a nice catch. This particular person has prioritized skills more than the experience. Okay. So are the skills really that much more important than the experience itself? That's a nice catch. Any more? Come on, people, I want you to find errors. Can you even unmute and tell me? Again, complete disclaimer, I'm not telling these templates are bad. We're just trying to find out the mistakes in the format on which the particular candidate has prepared his resume. It's completely okay to use any of these templates. There's no one particular perfect template.
Maybe the gap between sections are not so maintained properly.
Yes, definitely true. If you can notice, the gap between education and skills is different from the gap between skills and experience. It's not consistent again. Any more points? That's it? Okay, let's look at the things which I wanted to mention here. First and the foremost thing, again, the white spaces. If you can see, there's a lot of wasted space here, right? That's not good. Then again, as Prashit was mentioning, skill is more important than experience. Again, it's subject to your own personal choice. If possible, try to prioritize experience more than the skills itself. And if you can notice, they've used a bigger font for the company name, wherein the role, the designation which they maintained at the company, for that they've used a smaller font size. right? And there's one more tiny mistake. If someone can find it, a bonus cookie for them. I'll come and give you a chocolate, con man. Anyone? Quick, quick, quick. Remember the golden rule. 6 to 10 seconds. That's all which you have to glance at this resume. A major mistake, a major red flag, as I was mentioning. Bhuvan got it perfectly correct. Yes, that's what I was going for. The typo. If you can see here, this particular person has made a spelling mistake on his resume. Instead of developed, he has mentioned it develop PD, right? Thanks, Bhuvan, for pointing out that to me. As you people saw, within just few minutes, with just only around 70 to 80 people on the call, he was able to find that spelling mistake. Now imagine an experienced recruiter whose eyes are accustomed to go through such resume details. If he finds out, that would be a major red flag, right? So going further, just one more resume. What do you people think about this one now? Consistent, definitely. Make sure to give proper white space where necessary. Don't give a lot of white space, but at least some is required. Dull colors, yes. Most of like 75% of the resume is just gray color. That won't look good if you are taking a printout. Pale fonts, yes, definitely dull colors. Improper formatting, yes. Uh, One thing which I will again suggest you is try to use justified alignment whenever you're typing any points on your resume, so that the starting left end and the right end of the particular section will be matched throughout. That would look easy on eyes. Chota chota tips. Any more points? That's it? Yes. Now that we saw all these resumes, Sri Krishna is saying bullet alignment is missing. Yep. On one hand, this particular person did still, limit himself to just 2 or 3 points per while like describing his experience. At the same time, they've not used any bulleting points, which would have made it look much more better. Sorting of achievements, yes, that's a nice catch. If you can see, it's not in chronological order. It's better if you sort it in chronological order. Yes, heading like achievements have light colors. Headings should be bold. Okay, now that we saw these sample resumes, let's look at a resume which tells us what are the things to do rightly. Again, complete disclosure, this is not the template which I'm asking you to follow. There's no one particular very good, excellent format, excellent template which works for everyone. Here, I'm just telling about the content, the way they have formatted their resume. So we're just talking about what are the things to keep in mind. If you see here, they've mentioned their education, and everything is in chronological order. If you can notice, they've mentioned the duration in which they were there in that college. Coming to work experience, again, they've mentioned it in the chronological order. For every work experience, they've mentioned in just 1 or 2 lines of what they worked on, so that when a recruiter looks at this, they'll have more questions to ask you during the interview. First, they should feel attracted towards your resume so that they can ask you more questions during the interview. And coming to this particular, maybe this job description wanted their teaching experience, so they've mentioned that as well here. The skills which they have, all the programming languages, they've mentioned it here, and the languages, spoken languages. If at all, if a company is asking for your spoken languages, which languages which you know, then make sure to mention it. Otherwise, it's completely optional. You can completely skip it. And finally, they've mentioned their achievements and scholarships as well. They've tried to keep it short and simple. If you can notice, There's very much less wasted white space. They've tried to use as much area as possible. Real estate is very expensive. They've used it perfectly. So now that we saw all the sample resumes, we are at almost the end of this event now. So to conclude, most of us, like you can see, like there are people who are pursuing engineering almost everywhere, computer science graduates almost everywhere. So how to stand out, how to actually make sure that you have those really good points on your resume? What are the things to keep in mind? These are the things which helps you boost your profile so that your resume also gets boosted. First and the foremost thing, explore as much as possible. I'm assuming most of the audience here is second and third years. So you have ample amount of time to go and explore all the CS areas and domains. Could be web, could be mobile app development, could be machine learning, anything which interests you. Go ahead and try to explore it as much as possible. See which interests you the most so that you can dig deep into that. Don't try to follow the herd. Like just because your friend is into machine learning, you need not be into machine learning. Whatever interests you, that is something which you should follow. Then fundamentals. I've seen most of the people, like, they start focusing on their projects, but they tend to forget their fundamentals. That is your data structures, your algorithms, computer networks, DBMS. These are the most fundamental subjects of computer science. In an interview, a recruiter, especially for a fresher, they'll be looking more on your fundamentals rather than your projects or your work experience because they know most of us won't have the industry required experience already because since we are just graduating from college. So they'll be looking rather for someone who's good at their fundamentals so that they can easily fine tune you according to their requirements. So focusing on your fundamentals is really, really necessary. Then practice. Before the interview, practice as much as possible. Take mock interviews, reach out to your seniors, read the feedback from different people who have attended the same interview, get to know their experience and try to build upon that. Practice as much as possible. I'm someone who loves pen and paper. So right before the interview, what I would do is for all the most common questions, I would just write it on a piece of paper. I'll go through it multiple times. And on the day of the interview, I'll just keep myself calm and I'll just focus on the things which I have to convey to my interviewer. I won't try to go and study on the day of interview for the new topics. I'll stick to the things just for revising. Finally, communication. No matter how good you have, like, how good projects you have on your resume, no matter how good experience you already have, if you're not able to communicate that well to your recruiter, to your interviewer, then there's no way they can truly understand who you are. So communication is the key. Make sure you're heard, right? The interviewer, they should get to know you. Your communication really matters. And being part of any student club or any NGOs, this will easily boost your communication skills. So that is one small tip which I would advise to most of you. If you're not part of any student clubs, I would suggest you to go and apply and try to volunteer as much as possible. If not student clubs, you can also go and try out these NGOs. There are multiple. For example, you and I, Project Reach Out, MAD, there are so many. Try to improve your communication skills because that matters a lot, right? So by that, we have come to the end of the event. मेरे को सब आता है मैं expert हूँ, right? Just kidding. If you have any questions, we'll be picking up few questions now in the next upcoming 5 minutes. After that, we'll be on Discord for an unofficial chat. If you have any doubts, if you need any one-on-one mentoring, I'll be there on the Discord community server in a voice channel. Please feel free to join in and ask all your doubts. Right now, if you have any doubts which helps the entire people who are present here, please feel free to ask. Feel free to ask any doubts which you might have. Okay, Abhilash is here with a question. What's the difference between a CV and a resume? This is one of the most, commonly misplaced terms. People tend to confuse between CV and a resume. To be precise, in my opinion, resume is something wherein you're showing your portfolio, your profile. It will include all your education details, your skills, achievements, your extracurricular activities, everything. It's recommended for a fresher. Whereas a CV is something which is more professional. Once you have enough professional experience, CV will concentrate more on your experience itself, just the professional industry experience, not your extracurricular activities. Manjunath has a question here. He says I'm confident in some technology, but haven't done any projects using that technology, or the project is still incomplete. But he's confident enough to answer questions related to that tech. So is it recommended to include the technology in the resume? Yes, again, as long as you are confident that you can answer any questions in that particular technology, go ahead and mention it in the skills section at least. If you don't have any projects, then that is completely fine. But at least mention it on the skill section as long as you're confident about it. Shiva Menda is asking, what projects would you recommend in the domain of cybersecurity to build your resume? If you're into cybersecurity, I would suggest you to have few projects. Start out with the basics, like building ransomwares, trying to understand how malwares work, how actually these firewalls work. These are the basic projects which you can explore to learn about cybersecurity. Once you are confident enough with that, then you can go ahead and participate in different CTFs, capture the flag events, where it will test your complete knowledge on different domains. Could be system security or network security, everything. Cybersecurity is again a very vast domain. You could be into system security or networks. Depending on that, choose your projects. I hope that clears your doubt. And once again, please feel free to join our Discord server. We'll be there to help you all the time. The entire core team will be there. The link has been put in the chat box. And a small side tip, sorry, Darshan, just one small tip. A small tip which I would give you is, if possible, mention the date or at least the month in which you updated your resume. That shows the recruiter that you actually keep updating your resume once in a while, and it will also be like a benchmark or like a small bookmark for you to see like when was the last time you updated your resume.
I think if we have no more questions, we can call an end to this event. Do we have any more questions? As Pranav said,
Manoj is asking, what tips will you give to a hardcore competitive programmer? If you're someone who is a hardcore competitive programmer, I'm sure you are already really good at your DSA, that is data structures and algorithm. So go ahead and continue practicing as much as possible. Try out different problems. As you said, he might have less projects, but again, it's completely fine. At least you'll have your academic projects, right? All the DBMS, all the computer network projects, whatever that you have from the academic itself, that is more than enough. Focus on the fundamentals which you're really good at and showcase that on your resume. It's completely fine even if you have like less projects. Just 2 or 3 projects is also completely enough. In fact, being a hardcore competitive programmer, it will give you an edge over the others when a recruiter starts asking the most fundamental questions. Nitnim Singh is asking, what do I write if I don't have much experience in the job field I'm applying to? Uh, where exactly are you asking, like in the project section or the experience section? Experience section. So let's say since you're a fresher and you'll be applying to these jobs, most of the times it will be the case wherein the job description might not match with the work experience which you already have. At that times, do mention whatever that you have in the work experience because at least it will show you that you had some kind of experience at least, and make sure to go through whatever is required for that particular job description and focus on your fundamentals. Especially since you're a fresher, companies will not have high expectations that you must and should have some kind of experience in any particular domain. In fact, if you go through the job description for any fresh graduates, they would have mentioned that they are expecting 0 years of experience in that particular domain. So it's completely fine even if you don't have any experience in that particular job field which you are applying to. Focus on what you are actually good at, focus on the fundamentals. Jayesh is asking, does team projects count? Like I worked on different projects as a team, but my work was restricted to a particular domain or framework. So does this count? Yes, totally. First and the foremost, it will show you that you are someone who can work in a team. And second, whenever you're mentioning a team project, make sure to include what was your exact contribution. Don't try out and tell that I worked on the entire project by myself, especially if it's a team project. Call out what was your exact contribution, and so that even recruiter will know what to ask from you, like while asking about that particular project. Manjunath is asking, does course certificates matter in resume? One thing which I would suggest most of the people is I've seen people mentioning the curriculum courses which they've taken within engineering in their resume. I would suggest you to skip it because if you are a CS graduate, those are the courses which you are expected to have went through. So mentioning it again on your resume is redundant. But if you have done any certification course outside your curriculum, and if you think that is relevant to the particular job description which you are applying to or the role which you are applying to, then do mention it. If possible, try to provide a link to that particular certificate as well, so that the recruiter will know it's authentic. Any more questions? I think there are no more questions. I think we can end the session here. We'll be available on the Discord voice channel as well right after this event. Feel free to join us if you have any more personal queries. Over to you, Dasha.
I hope this session was fruitful and informative for most of you, and we look forward to seeing you at the other upcoming events of GDSE Elevate. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all for coming.